Good afternoon. I am Yasukawa of YassLab, and it is my great pleasure that I was adopted for presentation. Business model to create Ruby materials on a full-time basis, not on contract basis. We have been producing products on a full-time basis to support those who are to use the Ruby. We have been working for 7 years. We have made trials and errors, and this experience is condensed in a 30-minute presentation. First of all, I would like to show you an outline. Our company started with educational programs, like we are asked to send the faculty to technical college as a part-time lecturer. And we started the development under order, and then we started the Rails tutorial and Rails guide developed by ourselves. This is our own products. And in 2020, February, we completely stopped the developmental program under order, and we focused our activities to the full-time development of our own products. And we are trying to return the benefits to the customers and to the employees. However, it is not a very smooth success story. We have made a lot of trials and errors. Maybe more business-oriented person can make it successful in a shorter period of time. We don't know how much we can do, but at this moment, we may be able to develop teaching materials and contents on a full-time basis. We have a team of 10 developers. And I want to tell you what kind of internal structure we have and what is the value circulating. What is the business model of our lab? This is a brief introduction of myself. As mentioned before, Ruby and Rails contents and materials were done by YassLab. This is an profit-oriented company, and we are also engaged in the non-profit organization. One is called Jojo Japan. This is an international non-profit program worldwide, and there are more than 2,200 dojos in the world, and in Japan we have more than 220. And also we have an IPA Mito Junior, and this is the program to support young people who would start the untrodden, unexplored business. So this is for the younger people, and even they are younger, they maybe produce more impactful products. And I got involved in the startup of this IPA Mito Junior as well. So I tried to develop the capacity and capability of the people to create new programming projects. And I want to focus today on our YassLab activities. As I mentioned at the beginnings, Rails tutorials and Rails guides are developed and operated by us. And among them, Rails tutorial is the focus of this presentation. Because if I talk about both, I can't make it within 30 minutes. So I want to highlight what we did to develop Ruby on Rails tutorial. And this is the contents. This is the product development. This is the tutorial to learn developing the programs. And this is a service to learn programming languages, and there are services to learn those languages. After learning it, they would try to make their own program. The version controller and others are to be used. And these programs should be stored and should be made in public. After made it in public, there are a lot of feedback we receive, and then based upon the feedback, we may be able to improve the product, the quality of the product. And the tutorial is voluminous, 800 pages long. And the tutorial, the monthly reader exceeds 16,000. This is October and November. And this is the analytics active user number. So we have that number of readers. In April and May, there is a new employees training, and they may use Rails tutorial. So we have the readers of 22,000. Since it is the Rails tutorial, you may think that this is the tutorial to be used by the companies which uses Rails. But it's not. Some of the security companies or PHP product developers are using Rails tutorial to train their employees. So it is used by many audience, and on the first page we have a Rails tutorial, and the same is true for the Rails guide. And since it is a very good opportunity, I want to show you the numbers and data as much as possible so that you would be informed of our activities. This using the Google Search Console, if you search with the keyword of Rails, you can get a lot of information. But with Google Search Console, we can have the history of use during the last 90 days, like a number of clicks and number of display. So many people started learning the system with Rails tutorial. So they're using Rails tutorial to get the initial knowledge and skills. And we are working hard as a team so that it will be more user-friendly. And in 2014, we were not as advanced as we are now, and we have made trials and errors. But in the course of our development, and we have received Fukuoka Ruby Award and Elizabeth Award. So this is something we have to focus our efforts on. That's why we made our development activities as a full-time business. And it is to continue our business. We have tried, we have thought, and something didn't work, and then we try to find the better solutions, and we have to find the cheaper solutions. And something is selected as a cheaper solutions, but it turned out to be expensive. So I want to share our experience. So this is the time series, and in 2013, Rails tutorial is released in April, and this is the Ruby conference when I have made a presentation on the release of Rails tutorial. And web version was free of charge at that time, and if there are some cases, it is to be paid. And if the contents are the same, you may think that they may choose the free version, and we tried it, and then it turned out that there are many people who purchased the tutorials, but the sales alone does not help us survive as a business. At that time, the first version or first edition release, there are many people who cooperated with us in the Ruby conference, and we can offer the tickets to the Ruby conference, which is 10,000 yen per ticket. This is not the Ruby conference we are now attending, and we can purchase the tickets for 10 people who cooperated with me. However, the free web version and the paid paper version alone did not support our business. We have to create contents continuously so that we may be able to offer the most advanced contents to the clients. So what we tried next, around 2014, 2015, is the explanatory seminars. We have prepared the slides, and the real tutorial is 800 pages long. It's very long, and it is very time-consuming to explain all these tutorials. So we divided into 5-day sessions or 5-day workshops. One day can cover 3 to 4 chapters, and we have 5 days. So in total, we can cover 800 pages. So this is the seminar to explain Rails tutorial. And for the reasons I mentioned later, we are not running this course. But other than that, we have a single-day seminar as well. So we have a lot of seminars. And we learn how to run those seminars. We can improve the wordings. We can improve the way to describe the contents. So business or continuation of business is needed. From the first to the third or fourth workshops, many people applied for participation. There is a waiting list. This is the contents, and explanation of contents are expected. So we thought that we can run many seminars like this. Especially in 2016, we ran a lot of seminars. Then the interests die down, and the learning is a kind of a flow. If one person learns it, and then they complete the learning, and then we have to have a newcomer coming to that. But if we organize the workshops too quickly, we may run out of the audience. Or sometimes we try to make a more advanced content on the workshops. Then the people may say that, no, it's too difficult for me. It will be a later thing to do. These are the things I learned while doing it. What is important is that the explanation of the tutorial is valuable, so people participate with a decision that it's worth paying. And we have to offer the support continuously. This is very difficult. The demands fluctuates by the time and seasons. I may not be able to predict the future with 100% accuracy, so it is very difficult to predict. And I have to be there to do the workshops. In order to run the course in a more stable way or a more sustainable way, we have to change how to offer the program and at what cost. Around 15 to 16, we recorded the video of the workshops, and we have the video workshops. One set of course is around 40 hours at the beginnings, but it is shortened to 36 to 38 hours. And we tried it. I don't have to be there. If there is a question, I cannot answer the question on the spot. So this is a kind of a media of learning, new media of learning. I thought that it is less worth than face-to-face workshops, but it turned out that it is welcomed by the audience. The audience said that the Yasukawa-san on the video is more useful and more informative than the Yasukawa-san on the face-to-face meetings. We can rewind the videos, or we can just fast-forward the video, depending upon the needs of the audience. And in the video, we can freely adjust the pace of learning, which cannot be offered in face-to-face meetings. So this is a new worth or new value added. So we have a set of videos, and then it can be used at the universities and graduate schools, and the lectures are made with the videos. And then we would use the class, a face-to-face class, to take questions. And, we can save the persons who may drop out from learning a difficult programming course. And it is what I talked in Ruby World Conference in 2018. This is a flip teaching. And you can see this if you are interested in it. It is available on YouTube.
So it was sold and somebody bought it. So we are ready to update more and more, and detailed information can be added as a minor version up. So what about the possibility of doing this as a business, a full-time business? Something is missing. Consignment, the business can be reduced, and this can be made complementary. But with this alone, it was still difficult to be in a standalone business. And we wanted to solve the problem of the others and create a value to offer. So we went to the real place. We went to Tsukuba University and used the tutorial. And what about doing this online? And we tried many possibilities and cooperated by students. And also this is a training for the employees of the company using the contents. And I was able to support this training sessions, and who would be ready to pay the money to purchase this. And we went through these ups and downs. And there are two patterns that I found. This is the evolution of the technology. And people think that everything is determined in this way. But in the case of the learning process of the newly employed person and the students, these development like staircases, command line, architecture, MVC, and these are developed gradually, one by one. Now, MVC is no good, and many people have commented. But when you come to the actual site, if you eliminate MVC, what would happen? I cannot tell the exact name of the corporation, but this is a case example. For instance, we don't need MVC, and we can start from the trail picture. And then what happened? Through this shortcutting, as a result, there's a cliff to climb, and people get frustrated. This is too difficult. This is not interesting. Okay, I quit. So, the excellence of the technology would depend upon the budget or development on a longer term, or development on a large scale. And there's no unique answer to that. Probably also myself would make a similar decision depending upon the situations. MPV, clean architecture, or micro or mono. In the deployment of the service, Heroku is better than AWS, GCP. Many people are using AWS, and they like to talk about these things, their favorite topics. But for those who are actually learning, if there should be such a large step to go over, the people would be demotivated and quit, and the user would go away because of this frustration.
僕の中での思いなんですけど、例えば密結合素結合とかっ
So,
ていう話がモノリシ
for
ックマイク
instance,
ロ、とかだとあると思いますし、
monolithic,
MVC っていうのも、クリーンアーキ
the
テクチャ、
sparse
の2つの
connection
一
and
つ
the
の、
dense
アーキテクチ
connection,
ャ、いわゆ
MVC
る参
to
考になるアーキ
clean
テクチャだと思うんですけども、どっちが、シン
are
プル
the
か、密結合かと、
examples. For
いうと、
instance, which one
MVC の
is
方だと僕は思うんです
densely
よね。そのモデル
connected?
の中にた
I
くさ
think
ん、
that is MVC. In the model,
夢が詰まってるわけですね。MVC の
this
場合
is
だ
a
と。で
densely
それが本
packed
当にどんどん
dream,
サービスとかチームが大きくなっ
and
てくる
this
と、
can be
そうじ
developed
ゃないアーキテク
into
チャの方がいいよねと
services.
いうふうな
And
とこ
it's
ろとか
better
も
to
出て
have
く
the
るんですけ
architecture
れど
not
も、
like that.
学びやすさで言うとやっぱ
On the
MVC
other
を終わった
hand,
後に他のよりその
it's
発
better
展的
to
な、
learn
高度な、
MVC
ア
first
ーキ
and
テクチ
then
ャと
go
いうか、
to the
いろいろあると思うんですけども、そういったものを
sophisticated
学びやすく
clean
なるし、
architecture
いきな
and
り、
easier to
マイクロ
learn.
サービス、
And
僕の場
rather
合だと
than
例えば
jumping
大
to
学で
micro service,
オペレーティング
in
シス
my
テムとか研
case
究してた
at
ので、例えばマッハカーネル
university,
とか
I
そのマイクロカーネ
studied
ルとか、当
Kernel,
時
micro
ミニックスとかい
kernel,
ろいろありましたけども、やっぱその
Unix.
前にま
There
ず
are
はハリボ
many,
テ OS と
but
か何でもいいから、
before
とにか
that,
くす
it's
ごくシ
better
ンプルな
to
マイク、モノリ
learn
シックなオペ
a
レーティングに変
monolithic,
えた後に
simple
マイクロカーネルの
model
話
and
をやっぱ
operating
話してい
system,
くとす
and
ごくわ
then
かりやすい
you
と、
can
僕
move
自
on
身もやっ
to
ぱそ
the
う思ってますし、
micro and easier to
サーバー
understand,
一
easier
つ
to
とっ
go
ても
forward.
一回ヘロ
In
ク
the
に出て
case
く
of
ると、
server,
で、こんな
you
感
can
じで動く
do
のねっていう
first
のが
with a
分かったら、
Heroku.
その後じゃあそれを
If you
さらに細
understand the
かくチューニン
basics,
グしていくため
then
には AWS、
you
GCP、
can
Azure、たくさんあると思うん
tune
ですけど、
in
そういっ
more
たものを作っ
detail
ていく、
by using
そういうふうな
AWS
順番
or
で技術の
GCP.
選定っ
So
て
we
いうの
have to
と、
go
その
step
学
by
びの
step.
階段っていうのは割と結構
This
切り
is
離されて
the
るところが、
staircases of
別々の
learning.
傾向があるんだろうなっていうのをちょっと見ながら見ていて、
These
僕
are
は当然なん
two
ですけど、その
disparate
学びの階段をどんどん作ってい
thinking,
く、そのなだらかにしてい
and
く
it's
ところに
better
興味
to
関心があっ
create
て、それを日々
the
常に
steps
やって
to
いきたい、それを
climb,
フルタイムでどんどん前に進めていきたいと、
and
階
we
段作
want
り
to
を
do
F5
it
やってい
full
きたいと
time,
思って
and
やっ
we
てたり
want
します。で、やっ
to
ぱりこれ例えば
develop
YouTube で上がってる動画で、
good
1.8 万回ぐらいも
staircases.
再生されてい
And
るんですけ
this
れども、
is
その、文系の
the
方がなんとしてるゲー
YouTube
ムなんだってい
video,
う、結構こう面白いって言っていただけてる
18,000
動画
views,
の登壇者の方もおっしゃってたのが、
and
レール
this
ズ
person
の
was
前にシナトラを、
speaking that
これも一つ目
before
がレールズ
Rails,
というウェ
it
ブア
is
プリケ
very
ーション
good
フレームワークの
to
手
learn
前にち
Sinatra.
ょっとこう分かりやすいシナトラっていうフレームワークが
Sinatra
軽量な
is
フレー
easier
ムワ
to
ークだと、
understand,
よりレールズもストーリーと
and
かも
this
入
is
る
a
と、これも
lightweight
一つ
frame.
こう
And then you
階段
would
が
be
よ
able
り緩や
to
かに滑らかになっ
understand the
ていくってことで
Rails
すね。
better.
ちょっと
That means that the slope
当
is
然こういうことも分かっているの
the
で、
gentle.
じゃあシナトラも作りましょうかみたいな形でいろい
Now,
ろこう話も前
so
にま
I
とまってたり
decided
は
to
しま
do
す。ちょ
Sinatra
っと
as
ま
well.
だリリースしてないんですけどね、こうご期待
Not
くだ
yet
さい。ごめんなさい。ちょっとここ
released,
は宣
but
伝です。
please have a good
で、
prospect
他
on
に
it.
もう一つのパターンがあって、それはですね、そのコンテンツのこう制
In
作とか維持
addition,
とか更新のコスト
the
がどんど
fabrication
ん
of
増え
the
てきているなと
contents and the
いうところ
maintenance
が
and
ありますと。なので
uh,
その技術とかウェブテクノロジーとか僕もウォッチしてい
renewal
るんですけ
cost
ども、
is
そういった
getting
ものを
higher
こ
and
う分かりやす
higher.
い階段上にこううま
And
くこう舗
we
装してで
are
すね、
trying
そ
to
れを
make
こう組版して
the
PDF とか
smaller to
EPUB とかに進めるとか、
easier to climb
主
with
に
steps.
なんていうんですかね、需要が高いというか、皆さん、いろんな
Particularly,
人たちが
demand
使いや
is
すいのはウェブテキス
quite
ト、ブラウザで見て
high.
読むタイプのものかなと思うん
For
ですけども、
instance,
さらに
web
それをで
browser
すね、こ
text.
う媒体として
And
は
in
テキストより
addition
も
to
動画
that,
とか音声
the
とか、そうい
video
った
is
別のメ
better
ディアの方が
than
やっぱりより
text.
分かりやすいという人たち
Different
がどんどん増えてい
media
て、これは先ほどの
is
解説動画
easier
と
to
か反転学
understand
習と
for
呼ばれるよう
increasing
なところでお
number
話し
of
したような
people today.
ところなんですけども、それをさらに編集して、配
So
信できる
this
よう
will
なプラットフォ
be
ームの上に乗っ
edited
けて、
and
みんなが見れるようになると、
make
モ
it
バイル端末でも見れるようになる
distributable,
みたいな
and
こと
then
をこ
many
うや
more
っ
people
て、
would
そ
get
して
access
さら
to
に
it.
それを、
And then
それぞれのこうインストラクター、講師の方
this
とか、
would
その
be
担当の方
given
が
to
こう、
the instructors and
サ
the
ポートする、メ
teachers
ンタリングするメンターとし
who
てっていう
would
ふうな形があっ
support
て、
as a
これでよ
mentor.
りいろんな人が学びやすくなる、
And
形、
the
ウェブ難
learning
しいという人
situation
も、
will
自分ウェブいけるかも
become
って思っ
even
てもらえるような
easier. And
流
many
れにな
more
っているの
people
かな
would
と。
think
ただ
that
一方
that
でや
will
ることがどんどん増
be
えて、
possible.
いく。それに対
And
して技術もどんどん高度に
there
な
are
ってい
more
く。
and more
これは多分
things
未
to
来も
do,
おそらく技
and
術はもっと進化
technology
してい
is
くんで、より
getting
高度になっ
higher
ていく
and
んだろうなと思
higher,
うんですけども、それに
and
対してこう学び
innovation
の階段を
would
どんどん
take place. steps, but by supplying the good lower steps to climb, then we could create learning environments easier to cope with. And this is a collaboration plan so that so as to make a system in which people would find it easier to learn.
呼ばれるものです。これト
This
ップ
is
ページにももう書い
the
てあるんですけれども、例えばオン
decisive
ラインでコミュ
other
ニティで
step
学ぶだと
that is
か、
a
質問だ
collaboration
けして
plan.
くれれば OK ですっていう
For
方もいれば、も
instance,
うス
you
クール
can
で
learn
がっつり
online,
学びた
or
い、も
you
う現
can
役の人た
ask
ちの隣で学びたい
questions,
とか、現
or
職の
some
新
people
自
want
分は
to
転
learn
職
with
したつもりでい
actually
て、その
active
転
people
職の
in
支援
that
まで含めて
field.
やっていただきたいと
And
か、いろいろ
also,
な人たちのいろいろなニーズというか、
some
要
people
望
want
があって、その
to
人たちにその
have
多様
a
なニーズにそれぞれ合
consultation
わせていく
about
ような
how to
形
find a
で
new
考えて
job.
もですね、うちの会社一社だけでやるというのはなかなかすごく難しいし、
So
まあ、
it's
僕よりも
difficult to
そういう
do
とこ
it
ろが得意な方
alone.
々がいっぱいいらっしゃい
And
ますの
there are
で、まあ、そ
many
ういった方
people
々
who
と
have
協力して、より多く
prowess
の、
of these
学び方
activities, and
をこう
we
実現
can
していく、場の数を
cooperate
増や
with
していく。
them,
ってこ
and
とを
we
やっていっ
can
て、まあ、さらにですね、価
create
格の部分
more
ですね、こう調
opportunities.
整、できるようにして、まあ、これ、岐阜大学さんとか八戸工業大学さんとかも
And
2020
Gifu
年の間に、
University, Hachinohe,
新しくまた使
during
っていただ
the
きましたけれども、まあ、そういった方
2021,
々も含めてです
these
ね、
are
その
the
いろいろな、法
people
人、
who
まあ、あるいは
are
大学の国
using
立大学
this
法人とか非営利、
is
の団体さ
national
んとかの活
university
動とかでも使いやすい、
agencies and non-profit
仕組みをご用意している。
organizations
でさらにそういう
can
ふうな形でい
use
ろんな
this
方々とこう
system.
協力していくと、どんどん価値がこう回って回っ
And
て回ってい
also
くん
with
で、
this
まあ、それでま
cooperation,
た自分たちの大
their
手という部
value
分もあ
would
るんですけれど
be
も、まあ、売上とし
recycled,
てですね、まあ、
and
その出た売上
the
をさ
value
らに
would
コン
be
テンツに力を注ぐ、そ
augmented,
のためにこう
and
あ
we
あだ
can
こうだ今
sell
までずっと
more
頑張ってきたの
and
で、
make a
で、
profit.
そのために具体的に何やってたか、何やっていくか、まあ、あるいは
And
今
what
何やってる
we
か
have
までっ
done,
てとこ
what
ろ
we
で
are
すけれ
going
ど
to
も、まあ、
do,
先ほどお
how
話ししたんで
others
なんと
are
なく想像つ
doing.
いたかなと思いますけれども、前提知識シ
Probably
リー
you
ズという
have
階
already
段をもっと
noticed,
滑ら
but
かにしていく、ため
this
の
is a
もの
system
ですね。まあ
or
こ
the
れ僕らは一
series
応前提知識シリーズというこ
so
とで、そ
that
のマイケルさんという
all
方
of the
とご一緒してい
premises
ろいろ
of
とこ
the
うどんどん作ってるんですけ
the
ども、それを
knowledge
こうとりあえず今
can
開発基
be
礎編っていうのが出
acquired
てますけど、そ
with
れ以外にもたく
these
さんシ
steps.
ナトラ、とかウェブ基礎編とかなんかいろんなのが出てくる予定で
There
す
are many
し、
possibilities,
それ以外にもで
Sinatura
すね、まあ、
and the
階段を
basic
こうどんどんどん
course
どん
of
細
a
かくすること
web.
で滑らかにはなるん
And
ですけ
so
れ
by
ど、
having
あと
the
残り
lower
何段
steps
あるんだ
to
っけみたい
climb,
なところがやっぱ気になる人たちも増えてくるので、まあ、そういう人たちの
and
ため
some
に
people
まあ
who
Ruby
want
と
to
Rails 学
count
習ガイ
the
ドとかです
steps.
ね、作ってい
So
るこの
for
伊田伊賀
those
さんと
people,
いう
we
方と協
make
力
a
してですね、
learning guide of
より皆
Ruby
さん
and
が
the
こう学び
Rails
予
and the
習復習
textbook
とか、
of
あるいはワイドの
Rails.
時のガイドとかも
For
できるようにしたり
instance,
だとかです
people
ね。
can
あ
use
とこ
it
れもまた
for
11月にプ
preparation
レ
of
ス
the
リリース
next
したも
lessons,
ので
and
すけれ
then
ども、そ
after the
のプロゲート
lesson,
さ
you
んと
can
協力し
relearn
て
it.
こう学
With,
習ロードマップというふうな形で、まあ、プロゲートでいろいろなこう基礎
so
を
with
身に
the
つけた後です
Progate,
ね、
we
まあ、さ
have
らに
this
どんな道があるのか、
the
まあ、たくさん道
basics,
があるんですけれども、
and
その
then
中
there
の
are
例え
many
ばプロダクトを作
possibilities
っていくってなった
to
ら、ま
go
あ、レールチュートリア
forward.
があるよみた
And
いな形でこうつないでいただい
for
て、まあ、僕らの
instance,
方からも
a
いきなりこう
Rails
レールチュートリア入ると多
tutorial
分ちょっと
is
難しいと思うか
possible
ら、まずはプロゲー
for
ト
the
やってみたら
development
どう
of
みたいな形で、
products.
それぞれのこう
And
道を
it
分
is
かりやすくですね、こう
impossible
案内
or
していくような、
very difficult to
協力
start
と
with
いう
the
か、こう舗
Rails
装もですね、
tutorial
し
from
て
the
いって、こ
beginning.
う学習の
So,
高速道路みたいなものをどんどんどんどん作っていって、
so we
でさ
would
らにそ
like
れを
to
こう
make
図
a
式化し
highway
て、
of
例えば
learning
こういうふうな時
opportunities.
にこういうふうに考
And
えた
this
ら、
is a
まあ、こんな道
system.
あるよ、
If
あん
you
な道
think
あるよ
this
みたいなの
way,
もこう
you
図に
can
して
have
ですね、
this path to follow.
それぞれをつなげて、まあ、もちろん弊社
And
だけじゃな
these
くて、
paths
プロゲート
are
さんとか、あ
connected,
とそのパートナー法人
and
協業プ
we
ラン
are
でご一緒させ
connected
ていただ
with
いている、方
partners
々
in
が
a
やってい
collaborative
るその
plan.
学習
We
支援のサー
cooperate
ビス
with
と
the
かですね、
professor
まあ、っ
of
て
the
いうのもこうつなげ
universities
ながら、
to
よりいろんな人た
support
ちが、
the
学びやす
learning
くすると。という
of
ことを
the
やってですね、
uh,
だんだんとこ
people
う少
who
し
are
ずつ少しずつ
interested.
こう協力している
And
方々も増えて、
gradually,
ついに
we are
最初のスライドに戻って
increasing,
くるん
we
で
are
すけれど
having
も、
more
まあ、
people
その
to
自
cooperate
分た
with.
ちのその作ったプロダクトとかサービスだけに専念できるような体制っていうの
And
もできるようになってき
now
て、まあ、これがど
we
こ
are
まで続く
beginning
か僕
to
も
be
わから
able
ないんで
to
すけども、続けるとこ
concentrate
ろまでとりあえ
on
ず
the
やってみ
products
たい
and the
なと思
services
って、引
that
き続
we
き
have
よ
developed
り多くの人たち
by
に自
ourselves.
分の作りたいものを
And
作っ
if
て
you
いく、作りたい
continue
ものを理解できる、
them,
まあ、そういうふう
and the
な
people
こ
would
う流れを作っ
understand
て
the
いきた
more
いなと
complex
思って
concepts,
います。は
and
い、長く
this is going to be the future course. In conclusion, we have experienced trials and errors to continue this business. It took 7 years, and finally, we have come to the stage where we can do it full time. And this is a system to make learning easier. And now we have the knowledge about the steps of learning, but at the same time, the technology is making advancement. So we want to focus upon the fact, for example, easier to learn. We would like to make it easier to learn highly sophisticated technology and to turn it into business. Now, the technological innovation is too fast and we cannot catch up with it. In that case, we cooperate with many other people, and those who are interested in the IT may be difficult, but feasible and doable. And these people are welcomed, and we are very happy to welcome these people. And we want to continue to develop a system to continue to create the products. Thank you very much. This concludes my presentation. I hope that you have found some useful information. I hope that you could learn from my failure and the success. Thank you very much.